On this week's episode of Run Junkie, Chicago Marathon is on the horizon. Nick Symmonds speaks out. Trey Hardee in the studio.
High school upsets. Ed Cheserek sets more course records. How good is Wisconsin? And Ryan gets a death threat.
All in this week's episode of Run Junkie. So news last week, Usain Bolt was in the good old US of A, making a stop at Mount Sac to give a clinic, and he also gave a lot of good insight as to what happens when you realize you're the fastest man in the world.
Sit around with your friends, and it hits you, and you're like, yo, do you know that I'm the fastest man in the world?
And just in case the people in the crowd didn't know, he also let them in on this little secret.
Anywhere I go, I can say, I'm faster than you. I'm faster than you.
Man, such a humble guy, right?
He is, just a nice man. And he's also voicing his opinion about changing the false start rule. He thinks everyone in the field should get a warning before someone gets DQ'd. I'm thinking a guy that gets paid up to $500,000 just to show up for a race might have a little say in what happens.
Speaking of athletes who want to change things up, Haile Gebrselassie has voiced his opinion that he wants the London Olympic Marathon to start not at 11 a.m., but at 9 a.m. But has anybody actually told him that he's not even on the team yet?
Speaking of marathons, the Chicago Marathon is coming up this weekend. It will feature 5 sub-207 marathoners, including America's fastest ever Ryan Hall, and also Moses Masab, who's run #2 time all conditions, 2:03:06. Also, the year anniversary of Sammy Wanjiru's amazing finish at Chicago.
This race is over. Look, just the footballs this guy's got. Unbelievable victory.
Now, a lot of things can happen in a marathon, which makes fueling key. Who better to talk about fueling than a 2-time world championship expert, Mr. Trey Hardee.
What are you guys doing out here?
Hey, what's up?
Oh, this isn't gonna work.
Now, Trey, you were recently in Chicago. How was it like up there?
Man, the city is beautiful, but I'm gonna be honest, the course is really long. It's gotta be like 24 miles long.
It's actually 26.2 miles.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't make it through the whole course. I got to about mile 3 or 4 and stopped for a burger.
Well, more importantly, the reason you're here is to talk about the fueling stations. You're just coming off of a pretty serious elbow injury. How do people approach a fueling station to avoid a similar situation?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a really common problem. A lot of people come in off fists and elbows. You know, that's how you overextend, you overexert yourself, and then you have to end up having surgery at a water station, and it's horrible. What you want to do is keep your elbow in tight, keep your hand inside the midline of the body, lead with the chest, and grab that water cup right there. And a lot of people like to go hand to face. I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think you gotta bring the head down to the cup and then move the whole body back. You know, you works your core, works your back. You're gonna run a faster race because of it.
You heard it here first.
More road racing news this week. Get down here. Road racing news this weekend. Meb and Dina make their return and get the W at the Rock and Roll Half Marathon Series in San Jose.
And also, I gotta give a shout out to a fellow Mainer, Ben True, who wins the USA running circuit. He wins a whopping $6,000. Wow. Over a series of 10 races, the grand prize total for the series winner is only $6K. I think this brings up a greater issue in the sport, which we've talked about before, the lack of resources, the lack of avenues for athletes to earn money. Now, Nick Symmonds yesterday wrote a blog on the site talking about how governing bodies are crippling our sport and how their restrictions are really hurting this whole process for athletes.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see such a prominent athlete like Nick Symmonds take a step forward. Sounds like a topic to throw to the Godfather.
Big shout out to Nick Symmonds. Thanks for writing that blog post. We know, that's right, we know that it's hard for these athletes to get sponsorship, and only a few people have gone beyond the shoe company.
Hey man, what's up?
Ooh, what's this?
Have some Red Bull.
Red Bull?
Yeah, you know it gives you wings.
Man, that's good. We need to be more like this. Look at this. Cycling jersey. Logos everywhere. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. There's tons of sponsors out there that would love to be a part of a runner's jersey. Local stores supporting local runners, and then big companies like Red Bull. Red Bull would love to have this jersey. We need to hear more stories like Nick Symmonds. We need to get it out there. Adam Nelson wrote a great comment, but we need more. We need more athletes joining the Facebook group, telling their story. And then if you want to blog, blogging on FlowTrack. This can't be a one-hit wonder.
All right, now for your high school roundup. Out in North Carolina, we had the Great American Race. Daniel Moore of Trinity High School out of Florida takes down Jacob Burcham in a course record 14:57. On the girls' side, Haley Pierce wins in her season debut, but her number 5 Tatnall teammates lose to number 4 Saratoga Springs.
Ooh, that hurts a little bit.
A little bit, stings.
And you know what else hurts? Edward Cheserek breaks Joe Rose's famous Helmdale course record in New Jersey. So Joe, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to move over in that record book a little bit. And then also behind him, Christian Brothers Academy, the #1 ranked boys team, goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a perfect score of 15. Now on the West Coast, junior Amy Eloise-Neale breaks Bree Fellnagel's Seafair Invite course record by 6 seconds to run a 17:03 for 5K. That's pretty quick.
Amy Eloise-Neale and that Washington class is sick. On the Elite 50 roundup, check out an article that went up yesterday. Palos Verdes comes back from adversity to become one of the top teams in the country.
Now on to the bread and butter, the NCAA cross-country season. Stashies at Nashies is really starting to heat up, or maybe I should say grow out, for some of us at least.
Hey, when mine comes back, I'm at least not gonna have that disgusting neck beard. Nice! How about some big old chops? Oh man, this is awesome! Man, this is getting weird.
Can we just go back to talking about cross-country?
In cross-country news, German Fernandez debuted with his fastest Cowboy Jamboree time, and his Cowboy teammates threw down, looked really good without Stubbs, without Germa, and without Manila.
Also in that race was FloTrack's Flow Awards preseason watch list #2 pick, Indiana, and a surprise there, they had a transfer from Cornell, Adrian Dannemiller, who led them, so a little more depth than we thought. There's a lot of intensity on that team though. He threatened me during the interview. Formerly of Columbia, the 5th year, or sorry, Cornell. God, they're gonna kill me, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna kill you.
Dude, you said he went to Columbia. That's like saying somebody's from Ethiopia instead of Kenya, from New York or Boston, if they prefer dark chocolate over semi-sweet.
I don't really follow the last one. People really get upset over that?
Do you watch the news?
Now at the Bill Dellinger meet, we saw Wisconsin really unleash their dogs, and the question is, how good are they? How do we tell? Well, looking back over the results, Wisconsin's total team time was a minute faster than the previous best on that course, which was Oregon back in 2006. In the race's 6-year history, only 4 guys outside of this year have run faster than Wisconsin's #5 guy.
At the Paul Short Run this weekend, 3 of the nation's top 5 ranked women's teams ran. Providence takes down both Villanova and Georgetown. Villanova was without Sheila Reed, Georgetown without Infeld. You put those 2 in, the Friars drop down to 3rd.
Yeah, the PC women look very good. Maybe the best 3 or 4 runners in the country when you look at that, but they have no 5th girl right now. They really need to step it up. Now out there in South Bend at the Notre Dame Invite, the New Mexico women ranked real high, only finished 3rd. Florida State jumps everyone to win that. They look strong. And New Mexico's resting one of their good girls, Natalie Gray, but they take a hit in the polls going from #2 to #7.
On the men's side, Miles Batty takes the W, and BYU places 3 in the top 6.
And in final news around the cross-country scene, Josh Osoro from Portland is back. He sat out all of last year, but as a freshman in 2009, this guy finished 67th in the NCAA championship. So now all of a sudden with him, with Dunbar, Kipchumba, Portland looks pretty good. To close out this week's show, we'll let you know about the Flow Awards watch list that will be released on Thursday. Will Diego Estrada get up into that favorites list after running a #2 time all-time on the Cowboy Jamboree course? And then I'm looking forward to seeing the shift in the women's teams after a crazy weekend. Alex, where are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be in New York City this weekend. I'm gonna be hanging out with the #1 ranked high school team in the nation, Christian Brothers Academy.
Aren't they in New Jersey?
I'm pretty sure they are. It's close enough.
And I'll be out there in Chicago looking to see if Ryan Hall wins his first major marathon. So look out for that. You've got your fix, and we will see you next week.